Good afternoon, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Wednesday, September the 26th. Feel like it's a TV show. Maybe we ought to call this CSI Politics. The big news in the country today is a new allegation of sexual assault against Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court nominee. This one by Julie Swetnick, who said that she was present at multiple parties in her high school days in Maryland when Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge tried to get women high on drugs or alcohol and take advantage of them sexually. There's some really graphic allegations, including that Kavanaugh and Judge were present at a time when she was gang raped by other men. She didn't accuse them of rape, but says they were present when this occurred. She's spoken very precisely in a sworn statement for which she could be prosecuted for perjury, file that with the Senate Judiciary Committee. We don't know yet what's going to happen. We do know that the Judicial Crisis Network, a dark money group that spent $15 million to promote Kavanaugh's confirmation to the court, has pulled back its advertising for the time being. Hadn't stopped Donald Trump. He's now on the attack. 3 women can't possibly be telling the truth, none with any connection to each other. It must be a plot to smear his name and his nominee. Of course, he's affected by the fact that the lawyer for the woman who's making the accusation is Michael Avenatti, who represents Stormy Davis successfully, we should add, in her complaint that Donald Trump paid her hush money to shut up about an illicit sexual affair they'd had. What a mess. Well, and speaking of sexual crimes, potentially, Little Rock police officer Brandon Johnson was suspended from the force yesterday after a woman complained that she'd made him have sex with her as a way to get out of a DWI ticket. He's been suspended with pay. No charges have been filed, but he's not currently working the streets. Also from the Little Rock Police Department today, an arrest was made of Timothy Clevenger in the Labor Day homicide of his wife, Margaret. He'd said that day he came home that morning and found her gravely injured on the floor of their home. They've apparently developed new information that led them to charge him with the crime. The Arkansas Supreme Court today issued a strategic plan for the Arkansas judiciary. We're the 40th state to finally adopt one of these plans. A lot of it's just sort of feel-good things about how the courts operated. I was interested in their assertion that they want the courts to remain an independent branch of government. The legislature might have some different thoughts about that. The court says it wants to communicate well with the public and be sure that no one would ever doubt their adherence to the codes of conduct. It so happens today you can find on the Arkansas blog some curious happenings at the court in which some members of the court, but not others, have recused from a case that involves a member of the court, Courtney Goodson. This is a lawsuit over whether or not ads that are critical of her by the Judicial Crisis Network should be banned from the air for being misleading. There's been a split of 2 judges on this issue. The Supreme Court didn't take the case. It mysteriously wound up with the Court of Appeals. And now the question is whether it should go back to the Supreme Court, and there the court is split on what to do. It doesn't exactly build confidence that there's a firm hand in charge of the tiller out at the Supreme Court. News from Massachusetts today infecting Arkansas. The blog, arkansasblog.com, will give you some links to find some reporting by a writer in Massachusetts that shows how much money the Waltons and related organizations are spending to set up an organization to try again to push for more charter schools in Massachusetts. They were beaten back in 2016. Apparently it costs more money to buy Massachusetts than it does Arkansas, where the Waltons are firmly in control on the charter school question. Also from Massachusetts, a report released by a federal judge about the political involvement of a former Arkansas Senator, Steve Ferris, in guiding a Texas law firm into a very lucrative arrangement with another law firm to get a share of attorney's fees for representing the Arkansas teacher retirement system in a securities lawsuit. Doesn't look too good. Nobody's alleged any crimes or civil wrongs here, but it's a smelly picture of Arkansas politics, and a retired federal judge who wrote the report emphasized that point. Some good news in Fort Smith yesterday. It was announced that the estate of Miles Friedman, very successful engineer who'd gone to a 2-year version of what is now the University of Arkansas Fort Smith, had set up a trust that eventually will give $10.8 million to the Fort Smith campus, now a 4-year school, to pay for scholarships for deserving students. So that's something to remember and to cheer. There's still a lot to resist, needless to say. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.
If you listen to our music, you will feel it. You feel it in here.
The music is surviving, probably more than ever.
We owe it to New Orleans, we owe it to the world to keep it going.
It's a feeling that you have that was deep in you, powerful.
What is Mardi Gras Indian to New Orleans? Mardi Gras Indians is New Orleans.
We created rock and roll. We created swing, you know what I'm saying?